do like this. Like I just eat this.
Yes, no problem. But this last can teach you. Can teach you like this.
Okay.
Remove the leaves.
Remove the leaves. But and I looked back and like Bana Goigalea, because he was wearing, you know, swimming costume. I'd never even thought of it. The words just came out of my mouth, and I was like, I didn't want to swim with him. I don't know what you know, Kenya is a fine place, but to be honest, it's really something Ninani. There's something weird about Kenya. Like I got my phone stolen today. This guy thinks Abana Koigalea, eh? Ninani. What is he doing? Why is he wearing? Man, people are weird here. I actually got my phone stolen today. What is this guy doing, eh? Let me get away from him. Abana! Ninani! Abana Koigale!
What's up, everybody? This is Kenya Online Media, your number one source of entertainment news. And my guest today, ni Mzungu, you know. So there's this video that went viral of Christopher. He goes by the name Christopher. In the streets of Nairobi, you know, ameibiwa simu, anauliza wacha kuogelea, wacha kufanya nini. So he is here with me today. So we shall be getting to know him more. Tujue kama kweli simu yake ilibiwa ama it was just a prank, right? Yeah, so let's check that out. Hi, Christopher.
Hello, Eve.
How are you?
Very good. Na wewe?
Niko salama.
I'm happy to hear that. Furaha.
Kuna furaha?
Una furaha?
Mimi niko na furaha.
I'm happy. I know kidogo Kiswahili, eh? Naelewa kidogo. Yes.
So maybe introduce yourself and tell our audience who you are.
So I'm Christopher. I come from Denmark. I moved here because in my country they do terrible things, really. And I just have done lots of videos. You maybe know me from Abana Koigalea, Ninani, or whatever I said there. And I do pranks. I go where Muzungus don't go, because you have to be fearless in Christ. So yeah, I've just done lots of funny videos, and yeah, and I love Kenya. It's a spirited country.
So let's talk about the video that you did that went viral, that made more Kenyans to know about you. What was happening?
Well, I met Desmond. So I was training in where I live. I'm not going to say where I live, but I was training and I met this guy. And he was very famous, but you know Desmond, he's, you know, covered. You couldn't recognize him. He's a tall, good-looking guy. And we went to Nairobi to do some pranks, and I did some pranks with Black Mule. And then Desmond was like, you know, you run and I come after you. And I was like, fine. We just invented it all on the spot. And I looked back and like, Abana Goigalea, because he was wearing, you know, swimming costume. I'd never even thought of it. The words just came out of my mouth. And I was like, I didn't want to swim with him. That's what I said. But generally I think Desmond is a genius. He's truly prepared for the end times. We all know the flood is coming. People are acting Sim 2 type of stuff everywhere. So when the flood comes, Desmond will be swimming perfectly and we all will be drowning. So I think he's a genius. But it was planned kidogo. I knew him. I wasn't afraid of him. Have no fear. Yeah.
So your phone did not get stolen?
It did not. That was another prank. My phone will never get stolen because I'm protected by God. Yeah.
So you said that you go places where Mzungus don't go.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, that started a couple of years ago. My friends always told me, you have to film your adventures. That's crazy. I don't believe you have to film it. That's all true. So when I used to go places, I would be bored doing school, hated it. So I'd go like to India, New Delhi and ask anybody, Gigi the Hanjavar, why should I not go in this town, eh? And they'll say, don't go to South Side. And I would go to South Side, okay? So that's how I do. So I came down here and I was like, what do I want to do for videos, you know? Because I stopped my job, everything. I wanted to live in a Christian country. I had to find a way to earn money. So I was like, I'm going to do videos. I go down here and I just do what I've always done. I speak and I have fun. And somehow I always run into interesting people and adventure, and I just started filming it. So yeah.
So when you asked somebody in Kenya, where should you not go?
Yeah.
Which places did they tell you? Christopher, do not go to these places.
Githurai, Pipeline, Embakasi, Mlolongo. I think that's it. What you mentioned one place?
Gikomba.
Gikomba. I'll be going to Gikomba soon. Everybody will be like, on my Githurai video, got lots of views on TikTok. The full video put out there. They were like, oh, Githurai 45 must have changed. It was more dangerous when I was there. People are always getting excuses, but they don't understand that their reality is not true. The reality is, if you walk with fear, You know, there's this study they did with criminals where they had to choose who they wanted to rob. And women and people that walked insecurely, they'll rob them. But if you walk with no fear, you know what God says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, these sunglasses are completely with the paint. You know, if you walk without fear, nobody will touch you. Yeah.
So you've already done Githurai, right?
Yes,
So what's the
Githurai
next place you're
45.
doing?
Gikomba. Yeah, I just got the idea today. I'll go to Gikomba. I'll be there in 2 days at 14:05, so you can be ready with your knives to rob me if you want.
So nothing has happened to you since you came here? Like
Yeah, a couple shuffles.
money?
Couple shuffles, you know. There's a Matatu guy who was like, get in the Matatu, and he touched my woman a little, like pushed a little bit. And I was like, hey, don't do that. You know, and no. Have I gotten into problems here in Kenya? Not really. Kidogo here and there, but nothing special. Kenyans are very peaceful. Yeah.
All right, so what's your story, Christopher? Why did you move to Kenya?
I moved to Kenya because of Christianity. But, you know, I was living in my apartment in Copenhagen like 8 months from now. And I just came back from Kenya. And I was reading more about, you know, the ideas of how the West has fallen. And I'll describe it shortly, what made me led to move here. So ideas control people. People don't have ideas. Ideas have people. When in the West, after the Enlightenment, which was like a scientific period, God, he kind of died in some ways because people stopped believing in him. Now what happened? If you don't have the idea of God, that's removed. You need another idea. The new idea was Nazism in Germany, fascism in Italy, communism in Russia, and hundreds of millions of people died. And then we had a period of peace, and now ideas are popping up again. Now, there's very smart people before me that analyze which ideas lead to absolute genocide and destruction, and which ideas lead to peace. You know, God will lead to peace. Christianity and Islam will lead to peace. And the ideas we have now have more and even more worse traits than Nazism and so on. Ideas like the alphabet people that I can't mention. And, you know, if you're listening and you think about, oh, this is bullshit, well, the people you can't criticize is the people that control you. And we all know who we can't criticize. The Sim2 people. We can beautifully use Shang here because they don't understand it. They don't.
Please elaborate that some more.
On the Sim2 people. Well, I can't speak too much about it, but I all think, you know, so there's a group called LGBTQ, and it's identity politics. It's totalitarian, and they draw people in. But I can't speak too much about it because I have to stand stronger. Court cases can come. And they are absolutely devils, you know. They will bully people. There's a great pastor Martin Tsemba in Uganda, studied, you know, all kinds of stuff, wrote a book about it, and they have court cases against him, you know. And he made that funny interview like where he's like, why are you gay? I don't know if you've seen it, but they are bullies, and you know, I don't fear no evil, but I have to be careful because I'm not just me. I also have a child and a nice girlfriend, soon to be wife.
Congratulations on that. So back in Denmark, maybe what were you doing and why did you decide to move your life to Kenya?
Well, I always liked moving and traveling. I always liked that type of stuff. But in Denmark, I was doing sales, you know, and it's not nice tricking people. I can talk, you know.
Tricking people?
Yeah, but that's what sales is. You convince somebody that they need a product that they don't need. It's kind of tricky. And this is another thing I want to say with Christ, because all these people that are, if you hear about a boy and he's a Christian, you think he's boring. They're all like, they don't laugh, they don't do anything, they're like this, they comb their hair all day, you know, those type of people. I'm just here to tell you that I'm the most sinful guy you'll ever meet. But that doesn't mean Christ can't help me. So that's just my point. So I don't know, I can't remember what the question you asked me.
I asked why, like, you've answered, you know, what you're doing back in Denmark.
Yeah.
And the reason why you haven't told me the reason why you decided to move to Kenya.
Because I don't want my children to grow up in a Christian society where they are in danger of ideas that will destroy them. For example, the idea of shifting from this to this. We speak in code because we live in end times.
So, what you mean is that back in Denmark, you didn't feel like that was a safe place for you to raise your kids?
Absolutely. It's fine for me. I can say no and understand, but there are also people who don't believe in God. So the opposite of materialistic is spiritual by definition. So in Denmark we have materialistically everything's perfect. Free healthcare, all kinds, everything works. But spiritually it's not working. The number one debate in politics in Denmark is, why are children depressed? Have you ever heard of a child that is depressed? No, it's because spiritually people are ruined. So that's all. If you can go to Kenya and you can fix out the materialistic stuff, if you have Kidogo and Pesa, then Kenya is the best country on earth. That's why I came. But it's not a good place to have children, and I'm having, I'm trying to. My wife is pregnant, I think, so we'll be having some babies. Yeah, I want to have.
You think, or?
Yeah, I want to create an army to fight the Antichrist. More of me replicating like 20 little Christophers that just attack the fucking people that you all know we can't criticize because it's not good what they're doing. And I need warriors.
So I'm back in Denmark. You told me earlier that they are very, very like Christians si wengi ni wachache ni kidogo, right? Yeah, so when you were living there, were you a Christian yourself, or you were still on this other side that did not believe in God?
Yeah, I started not believing in God when I was younger. I didn't believe. I grew up, I saw like cartoons where they would make fun of Christ. I thought people with Christ are kind of stupid, to be honest. That's what I thought. But I grew up and I became older, and you ask my mother, she'll say, Christopher loves climbing trees and thinking about life. And I found the truth by exploring the world and exploring my inner world. And Christ is the truth. I've studied psychology and all kinds of bullshit. I took the Bible, I criticized the shit out of it. Like, took one sentence, criticized it. And I'm a critical person. And I found it to be even more true. Like, it's so deep. And all these things, like a man should be a man, a woman should be a woman. I'll just give you an example. If you don't have a masculine father and don't have a feminine mother, you get father or mother complexes, which can lead to abnormal sexuality. So it's made in psychology, but they suppress often a lot of it because they don't want it out. They want to promote a certain thing. We live in end times. So it's just terrible. Stay here, Kenneth. If you ever go to Germany or something, earn some money and take that money and invest it in Kenya, buy land or something. That's what I tell. It's the best thing to do. Absolutely.
So why Kenya, why not any other African country? I mean, there are other African countries that have very, very strong, their spiritual is good.
Yes.
So why Kenya?
Because that was the first place I landed. Before going to Kenya, I talked to Mary for 3 months on the phone. She was the girl, gonna create my family, so on. I have a dream the night before.
Mary is your current girlfriend?
Yes. The night before going, I had a dream that there was this beam of light that came to me, and it had demonic fingers. Like, I don't know if you've seen Harry Potter, but the demons, you have fingers like this. And it told me, if you go to Kenya, you'll die. And I looked to the side and I see something resembling God, and I asked, should I listen to this entity in the dream? And he said, you probably should. And I called Mary and I was like, fuck, I can't go, because dreams, sometimes I've had dreams of the future. And I booked a ticket for Nigeria, then I canceled that one. I say, F it, I'm gonna go. And I go to Kenya, and I'm still not dead. But I had even on TikTok, like, this sorcerer came up, like she reads futures, and I just asked her I don't know why, I was just sitting, I was kind of nervous, and I was sitting and I asked her, and she was like, you'll die by a snake bite. I was like, man, that's just how I would go out, with the wet African earth seeping through my fingers. So but I'm not dead, and I believe God was teaching me through that dream that in the end of the day it's up to me. But it was a warning.
A warning for what?
I don't know. Death can mean many things. Death can be a rebirth, to become something new. The old has to die. So I don't know what it meant. Only God knows. And why Kenya? I think God made me choose Kenya. In the end of the day, I always seem smart. Oh, I did this because of this. But I really think God is really doing it all for me.
Had you thought about moving to any other African country?
Yeah, Uganda or Tanzania seemed really nice, or Nigeria. I was also considering, can't remember that country. It's called Nigeria, and there's like a couple countries. Ghana. Yeah.
But you landed in Kenya.
I did, and I don't think there's any coincidence in life. Even though they would say it's a coincidence, I don't think so. I don't even think meeting you is coincidence. You kind of attract what you are. Life is weird, but you don't want to know too much. It's called gnosis. Adam and Eve, they ate from the apple, and the Apple computer's an apple. So in life, that's one of my biggest sins, is all the knowledge I'm addicted to. You just want to be simple, trust God, trust the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At what point did you shift from not being a Christian to wanting to learn about God, Christianity, you know, fixing your spiritual self?
Yeah, I did some terrible stuff, and I met some evil people on my path. So seeing evil, like true evil, made me think like in everything there's an equal and opposite. If something so evil exists, there must be something so good, kind of. But also I met this nice. This is how I came to Kenya. I was in India traveling. I was lonely. India is a fucked up country. It's crazy. Can I curse?
Yes.
Okay, it's a crazy country. And I met this Tahitian girl, and she was very nice, very beautiful. And I was not really with Christ, but I had prayed and I was studying the Bible. I thought like, oh, it's filled with wisdom. And she, beside her bed, I remember lying in her bed and I saw this small book and I opened it. It was the Bible. And I go on one of the pages and I read, I think this is when I read the text that even though you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you shall fear no evil. And I just thought, that's awesome. Yeah. And I started praying. From there on, I think it just went up. And I discovered that it's not, because I always thought it's like, that's what people think, it's so stuck up, like so many people, there's some pride in being holy. Oh, I'm cleaner than you because I'm with Christ and you're not, type of thing. You are, but I was just using an example. That's the biggest mistake of Christ. Like, he cleanses you. It's not about being, like when Peter was walking on the water, he didn't walk himself. You can't walk yourself, but you keep your eyes on Christ. Next time you see a beautiful Moreto Mutaka walking, you know, instead of looking, you just think of Christ, and you're not gonna want to do something, okay? Christ will make you be able to walk on fucking water. It's awesome. Christianity is insanely cool. It's the greatest belief system that ever lived. You'll be untouchable, fearless. You can move a mountain with your fucking right hand. Like, I think it's awesome. And I think, be honestly, many pastors do a bad representation of it. Because if you have a pastor come in here, he's sitting all holy and righteous, I never made a mistake, you know, and then he's having sex with the neighbor or something. That happens sometimes. So yeah.
So how long have you been in the country?
7 months now. I was here last year also. Yeah.
Alright, so so now that you've been here this long,
yeah,
I don't know if you have seen we have some very prominent pastors and prophets and apostles in our country, right? But there are claims that some of these apostles, they're not real, they're fake, and they sell fake miracles. Some of them perform fake miracles. They pay people to do certain things. Have you had that?
Well, the snake is great at deceiving, but first I'll tell about, you know, the greatest speeches I've ever heard here in Kenya. I've heard many pastors speak. Great speeches. You just see the gold watch slip out of their suit for a second. But one guy, I was in a funeral in a place in Nakuru called Mono or something. And this guy had no teeth. All the pastors spoke. And then he came up. He has no teeth, old man. And he just starts speaking. And it was the beautiful speech ever. And I realized the snake can trick. I can trick. I'm a salesman, blah, blah, blah. I used to do that bullshit. But in the end of the day, what really will make the most charming speech ever is the Holy Spirit running through a person. And that old man did not care about M-Pesa or anything. But the Holy Spirit was speaking. And the Holy Spirit all the time beats the snake. So those men are ruled by the snake. I speak to people and they're like, they don't even know that Christ is not about money. Jesus Christ was a carpenter. He said, for which man to go to heaven is like finding a needle in a haystack. And if you don't believe me, I'll throw a needle in a haystack and you try to fucking find it. You can't. So, of course they're corrupt. And Jesus Christ also said, many will come and false prophets. And that's not a surprise. But if you pray and just feel, I think most people can intuitively feel when something's right and wrong.
Do you have a church you go to?
I do go to a church in Beep where I live, and that's a nice church, but you know, it's fine. It's okay, it's like middle, but I think the best churches are in the village, like small ones. It's made out of metal, but you know, there's not much material, but the spirit is so high, the roof is lifting. You can preach under a tree, you know?
What's your criteria of picking, or of course other than the structural, you know, representation or how it looks outside, what's your criteria of picking a church and even finding, you know, a pastor an apostle, a priest that you actually feel like, okay, this is someone I can actually listen to and follow?
I can't give the answer to that, but I can say pray and it will come. If you pray to God and ask, hey God, I really would like a pastor I can trust that is good, God will do the work for you. In a year or two, you'll be with a pastor that's good. But right now I'm just going to the church closest. There's not that many, you know. In the end of the day, even if your church is corrupt, if you're singing Jesus Christ, you're feeling your goosebumps on your skin, you think about God, it's good enough. You know, you can give them some offering money they can use on their Mercedes, fine, you know. Let the money Caesar has go to Caesar, you know, whatever. Yeah.
So you don't have a problem with them preaching for money?
I do, but I'm saying the people that go to those churches and can't find anything else, you can still get a lot of good out of it. Don't stop going to church. But at the end of the day, you know, church is one thing, but it's, you know, your relationship with Christ that is the best, you know.
So it's not about, you know, the pastor, it's me and my relationship with God.
Yeah, you know, it's not like a religion. I don't have religion with my mother. I have a relationship in that way. That's how I would see it. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so coming to Kenya, you know, you are doing a lot of content creation. Is that something you were doing back at home as well, you know, other than the fact that you're still doing sales?
My friends, many of them didn't believe my stories when I traveled. Like, ha, you did that, yeah, right. I'm sitting thinking to myself, man, fuck, I actually did that. I don't even
You went to the places where Mzungus do not go.
I barely believed in my... And they were like, film it, man, you know? And I never really did it. But then I was like, I got to find a way to earn money. Going to Kenya, I have money for a couple of years, you know? Got to find a way to earn money. And I was like, I like doing videos, I like talking. I'm going to do something I love. And I have no fear of an uncertain future. So without Christ, I couldn't do this. But now I'm sitting here. Last 3 months, I've gained 50,000 followers. So, you know, in Christ, with God, everything's possible.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's the truth. I'll swear my life on it. So, yeah. I went down here planning to do videos. And I did it. And it's working well. Yeah.
All right. You said that you needed a source of income. So is content creation doing that for you? Is it as much as you had prepared yourself for the next 4 years, you know, you're moving to a different foreign country, somewhere you've not been, you're starting all over again. Is this something you can see yourself doing full time that will earn you a living for you, for your wife and your baby and the babies to come?
Absolutely, you know, we don't know yet. Mary likes to keep things private. I have a problem with shutting up. But, you know, I would love a little baby. But when it comes to the economy, my economy is really good and certain for like 4 or 5 years ahead. But I've already started to see source of income coming in. You see, you know, everything is about promotion. If I create like Curious and Crazy, you know, a brand a face, you know, and then they will pay you brands will pay you and YouTube pays. And the thing is, you get YouTube money. It's a lot of money in Kenya. Maybe in my country it's like middle, but here's a lot of money because things are so cheap. So, but that baby there, I've been thinking a lot about that. Every time I see a baby, I'm thinking, man, because I haven't had a child before. I have my child, Tiffany, I love her like mine, but I haven't had like a little Christopher with blue eyes climbing trees. I think that's a crazy idea. And I think that'll help me be a better man because I'm full of sins. That's what I'm not a holy person, but I'm cleansed and holy through Christ. But by nature, I'm crooked. Yeah, but I'm not gonna hide anything. That's who I am. Yeah.
All right. So what was I gonna ask? Oh, being now that you are, you know, your spiritual life is okay.
Yeah.
You told me that you would want to be a pastor.
I would want to.
Yes, to be a pastor.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about that.
Well, I just, you know, I found Christ and I don't even know that much. I've been reading, but I just memorize it very easily because I think it's awesome. So yeah, ideally, you know, the ideal life for me would be not to use my voice to sell a goddamn toothbrush or, you know, a car. It would be to sell the idea of Christ. But sell, the word is, you know, sell, you remove the S, you have hell, and S is the sound of the snake. So sell is not a good thing. I don't want to sell Christ. I just want to tell people how awesome it is. So yeah, I would love, you know, if I'm going to live a long life, you know, you never know what will happen because I live Ninaendanga Hatari. But
Unapenda nini?
Ninaendanga Hatari.
Unapenda hatari. You love danger.
I do. I do, but I don't see it as dangerous, but I know it's dangerous. It's weird, that thing about me. I've always had it. And I used to crawl up the top of the trees as a child and hang in one arm with my friend and dangle. And you can actually, you're fine, But I don't know, even when I'm driving on a Buddha and, you know, with me and my Mary and there's a pothole, I just missed it. Mary's like, and I'm like, ooh, that felt good. I don't know why. So I guess I have some of that, but now that I have a family, I will be more careful and I'll be conscious of that. So what did you ask me about being a pastor? Yes, I would love to. Free church, I earn a lot of money. I'm not gonna ever take money for that. And just like every Sunday under a tree somewhere way out in Nyahururu, I will be preaching. Yeah, I would love to do that.
You'll not take sadaka?
No sadaka, bana sadaka. I will take love. Yes, and you know, I love hearing about other people's lives. So people come to me, they have dreams. Oh, I had a dream about a snake, you know, how do you interpret that? That in myself will emotionally give me a great payment back. You know, there's many ways you can get paid in life.
Yeah. What kind of pastor do you think you'll be?
A weird one. I don't know exactly. The thing is, I always change a lot. If you asked me when I was 15, I was like, I have the secrets to life. But I always change. You know, but I've kind of found the ultimate truth. But I always kind of... So I'll be very different in 5 years. There'll be some core elements, but I'm always learning. Yeah.
Right, so as I was going through your TikTok page, I saw a video that, you know, you were not happy to being compared to Manchester, you know, midfielder Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah. So are you angry that people are comparing you to him and asking if you are his brother?
In that video, I was saying that in the end of the video, I was saying, I hate being compared to my brother. My mother has always been jealous with us. I'm not, surprise, I'm not Christopher De Bruyne, I'm Christopher Joseph Troy Anderson. So I was just making a joke out of a joke. But I don't care. Some people like, it's like maybe 20% of people like, hey Kevin, I'm like, yeah, bet on me next Sunday, we'll win. And they put their money probably there. So yeah, you know.
Do people call you Kevin while you are...
No, they're like De Bruyne. I'm like, it's Christopher De Bruyne, use my surname. So I just make a joke out of a joke. Yeah.
Right. Okay. The other thing I would want to know is you talked about starting your own podcast. Yeah. So tell me a bit about that as well and the plans you have for that.
Well, the first person I want on my podcast is a local homeless guy. I'll find some guy, I'll let God attract it. Sometime I'll get in a conversation with some guy drinking and I'll ask him how much he can drink and he'll be like 50 beers. And I want to talk to him. I would like a podcast where I just do like the normal people. Because one thing, I'm very interested in people always, and I'll sometimes ask too personal questions. And most people are damn interesting. Like, how did he become alcoholic? Well, he was a businessman 2 years ago. His wife cheated on him. He lost his job. He got depressed. He got angry. He started drinking. Kenya, there's no social security. Everything went downhill. And then he started liking alcohol, you know. So, I don't know. I'll definitely do a podcast. I was looking at a microphone here. It cost nothing. Kenya's so cheap. So, I'll just start it up in my sofa at home. In my little place.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing about Kenya and the people?
There's many things I like. I obviously like the Christian stuff. I like the matatus with the loud music. I made a video where I suggested that the matatus, maybe you should do like every third is a quiet. Because I love it. I love quiet matatus, okay? No, not quiet.
You
music. I like the music. But, you know, many people, like my girlfriend, many girls and quiet people, they don't like it. And nobody says it, but they don't. They will wait an hour extra for a quiet one. They want a church, okay? Yeah. So I was just like, maybe for business, make another one. But I love the matatus. And I love that you can do what you want. Like in Denmark, if I don't have my helmet on my motorbike, they're like, stop, sir. You can't do that. Are you my fucking mother? Like, that's how I feel. Like here I can take my goat, buy a goat and a chicken, put them back on my back and just go, and I can do that. And I like that about the country. You can do what you want. And people are not as stressed, you know. If you only have small problems in life, they're gonna seem really big. But if you have big problems, they're gonna seem small. And Kenyans, a lot of people have big problems. So they're thick-skinned and strong. And they have faith also, so they don't fear the future. So I like how people are calm. They don't stress over like not missing the bus or something. People are calm, in a good mood, and you know, everybody believes in God at the end of the day. Most people.
What is it that you don't like about Kenya?
What don't I like? There's some stuff, I know there is. So the time is a special thing. It's not like in Denmark, I'm a loose person. So when I text my girlfriend, I'm like, I'm home 30 minutes Western time. or I'm home 30 minutes Kenyan time, okay? So that's how we do it. But like we were going to a birthday, it started at 12, we come at 3 and we come early. I'm like, how do you navigate it? But it's kind of nice because if you live in a tribe, you just do what you want whenever you want. That's kind of like, it's good. Time is very constrictive, you know?
Yeah.
So I like it, but I'm adjusting. Like even when I met Mary for the first time, I was like, I'm gonna come a little late. I knew Kenneth come late. I come 30 minutes late, and she comes 1 hour later than that. She beat me completely, 1.5 hours. So
it doesn't piss you off that sometimes people get late?
I'm a very careless person. I don't give a F if people come late, like by nature. I'm not a structural, you know, I'm not very orderly. But it can piss me off sometimes. You know, I wanna, you know, I'm like, what? But not really. It takes some time. I'm just like, how do you do stuff? Like parties and stuff, how does it work? But you said it 3 hours earlier. So, yeah. So what more do I dislike about Kenya? There's another thing. I think there's a lot of social status tied to money. And because everybody needs money, because of the few corrupt people that are stealing from the whole population. By the way, I would say people, you know, don't burn the person that steals one phone. I can't go say anything about politicians, but so I dislike, you know, the arrogance of the rich. You know, I see some rich guy, you know, I'm an asshole by nature, but I don't know how you would like walking past some poor people that barely have money for school fees with a gold watch worth more than their house.
So your rich people are not arrogant?
In Denmark, the social hierarchy is different. It's because nobody really is in need of money. Everybody wants money, but they're not in need. So the coolest people are not really rich. There's a huge middle class that's like 80%. So being cool in Denmark there's other stuff. People are always going to be prideful. But I think there's when a Kenyan earns money, sometimes they're like, well, now I got to flex this and that. What do you want to do? Make people jealous? It's like a woman creating lust. Or have a beautiful body. That's for your husband, not for everybody else to make people lustful. So it just creates envy and jealousy. And I don't. You
don't like when a rich person, you know, I have made money. Yes. I'm flying out. Like you see my Instagram. I have posted the hotel I'm sleeping in. You know, the car I'm driving in. You don't want to see that.
It's fine. You can do it. You know, there's many reasons to do it. It's not that I dislike it, but it's like I do dislike it, but it's just the arrogance. Like I can tell it in the eyes. The eyes are arrogant, and I'm like, brother, if I digged up your bones and the poor people's bones, they would just be the same. And maybe the chance of going to heaven is higher when you're poor, according to Christ, and he's a pretty smart guy. So I dislike that a little bit. There's an arrogance tied to wealth that I wouldn't want to do when you know other people are really struggling. You're like, why did you want to do that? I try to hide that, you know. Because I'm white, people expect me to be like hyper wealthy. When I came down here in the start, people will treat me like I'm a prince, and I dislike. He just talked to me like a normal brother. So there's like an arrogance tied to wealth that I think is a little uncomfortable. But you know, whatever. I'm sinful in other ways. So yeah.
Have you been conned before?
Yeah, I have, absolutely. But I'm hard to con. Because, you know...
You are a salesperson.
Yeah. Yeah, but I did that. I also done other jobs, but I used to do sales, yeah. I believe that the abilities you have in life you can use for many things. You can use them for evil and good, really. And that's, you know, if you use the ability to talk, to preach good things or bad things, that's what you do. But you're able to talk. So you asked me about what?
Being conned. Have you been conned in Kenya? What happened? Tell us.
I have been conned, but I try to remember. Well, I got conned by the first girl I met. And, you know, we all know the greatest kings, you know, conquered land. No man could ever touch him. One Moiretu Mutaka. And his life was, you know, he was effed. So, in Denmark, the girls are not, there's not other attentions. Either they like you or they're like, get off, asshole. But here, there's other intentions. And with her, she was a very bad girl. I can't say on here, but she did some nasty things, and I love her, forgive her, and you know, may God bless her soul. But she was a very destructive human being, and I got part of that for a moment.
What's the weirdest meal you've had in Kenya?
Okay, I know Kenyans are sensitive to their stuff. They're like, why off, you know, and Kenya's a great country. But there's this thing, and you can help me with what it is. I drank it with Mary. It's like a cup, and I think maybe it's boiled bones and stuff. It's like a Kikuyu cup, and I drank it, and it tasted the worst thing I ever tasted.
Soup?
It's not a soup, it's in a cup. You drink it. Maybe it's a type of soup. It's like, I think it's like bones and joints all in one.
Yeah.
What is it? Having a specific name?
It's just soup.
Yeah.
Bone soup.
Bone soup, yeah. I thought that tasted terrible.
Really?
Yeah, and I asked for. I was really unpolite. I couldn't drink it because I was eating a place where some of Mary's parents' friends were there. And I was like, Mary, I can't drink it. She was like, you better drink it. Like, I can't. Okay, and I couldn't, and yeah, so that's the only food.
Soup.
Everything else is fine. Huge portions, you know. I'm gaining weight, becoming Mbaba. I just need my gold watch because Mary gives
And
me
kitambi.
Kitambi. Oh yeah, I like tumbo.
A belly, yes.
Yes. I think you look a little good. Here in Kenya, there's another thing. You can look good with a belly. In my country, it's like, that fat guy, he's lazy. But here, if you're doing business, you speak Kikuyu, you have a gold watch, and you put that stomach on the table, you're gonna sign the deal every day. Sindio? Yeah, so I don't mind if my belly comes big, but we have a lot of heart problems with the family, so probably wouldn't be wise. But I'm eating a lot of food. And if I don't eat up, Mary gets sad. So yeah.
What's your favorite meal?
You'll be surprised. I don't know why. Maybe I'm lacking the nutrients of this meal. But I love a simple ugali and spinach with some eggs. I love it. I often have digestion issues with that. I just feel good. And I also love pilau. In the start I asked for pilates, but it's called pilau. And yeah, I love pilau, and I love like ugali, soft ugali, you know. Luz make great ugali. Yeah, but Mary started to make some soft ugali that I like.
She didn't make soft ugali when you met her.
No, and there was a rumor going around that Kikuyus can't cook. I heard that from some guys. One guy who was like, I have a Kikuyu girlfriend, she can't cook. And I was like, mine can't either. But Mary, she's a good cook. She's a special one. The Holy Spirit taught her. Somehow she broke free of her culture. So she's a great cook, and I love your food, Mary. Yeah.
Are you planning to go back to Denmark or move to any other country, or where do you want to settle?
In Kenya, but I want to prepare myself because there's also the technology. We all know the Tower of Babylon was they tried to find a way to go to heaven without doing it Christ's way, yeah, and it fell, of course. And they're trying to do that again with technology. So artificial intelligence, I go over it super fast. It has an ability. So every single time everybody's using a phone, they have data of exactly what everybody likes to watch. They have the birth dates of everybody, which is meaningful. They have the psychological information. Imagine you're using machine all the time, and it's like, you like this. So it's creating a neurological network, just like the biological network in your mind. It's reflecting our collective conscious. And the thing about algorithms is they can develop themselves, so it goes exponential. So maybe in 10 years time is like 100 years of evolution. But suddenly we'll have in one fucking second 10,000 years of evolution. It's over, okay? And that's when Christ comes and gets us, so pray. But I want to be prepared for that, eventually move to Congo or Papua New Guinea. Because even in Kenya, stuff is coming down here through the phone. That's why I say if you're a white guy coming here, date a girl without a phone. Because those girls won't be exposed to the worldliness. I'm sorry for saying that because I know you have a phone.
Yeah.
But that's what I have to be honest. Yeah.
Okay. So it's weird. There's some people who are of the opinion that I think I even saw you do a video about this. There's some people who want to move out of the country and travel to places like Denmark, European countries, America, and just leave the African countries. But you are embracing this other side.
Yes. Yeah, as I said, Kenya has a materialistic problem. I'll say two things. If you're a black girl and you want to date a white man, don't. They do not believe in God. And as a woman, you will be so influenced by your boyfriend and how he thinks. That's just how the world works. How he sees the world, you're going to see it that way. And if he doesn't believe in God, I had some girls on TikTok even, my boyfriend, he kind of makes fun of my faith. is the worst thing. Like, even some extreme pastors will say the only way a woman can go to heaven is through a good man. So it's a very dangerous idea, and the girls are in love with materialism, and that's fine, but devil easily deceives a woman. And I'm gonna say something very radical. I genuinely believe that a father is better at choosing a perfect spouse for his daughter than himself. So, you know, a girl, she's a girl, she's been with girls her whole life, maybe she's a little naive, she's 18, she's not gonna be very good at choosing a man. But her father has been playing with boys when he was younger. He had complications with men, he had discussions with men, he has done business with men, he has friendships with men, he's a man himself, he knows men. And he knows when he sees a righteous, good man that is going towards something, even if he has a little here, he's going to make something out of it. He's always going to take care of his wife. So I generally think we should go a little back and not just run into what my country is doing. Because it's not a joke that I'm moving here. I want to live in my own country, but it's not a good idea to do that. So maybe we should stop just running towards technology and worldliness, and maybe just keep things as they are. You know, it's pretty good. Let's just make the economy work, but the ideas of men not being men, women not being women, messing all that stuff up, Sim 2 stuff, it really is bad. It's much worse than you would believe. And it continues. So, yeah, I got off my thread in my mind, but you know, don't date white men, and if you ever go to another country, take the money and go back and invest it in Kenya, because the money you earn in Germany, like, you go to Germany or Denmark, any country, you'll earn 4 or 5 million in 2-3 years of work in a supermarket. Go back, buy land. Your children can live off that also. Always come back to the motherland, but not for me, because my motherland is Mbaya. It's not going good. Yeah.
What did they tell you when you came here about dating Kenyan women? What was the stereotype?
Well, gold diggers, stuff like that, you know, but I don't really listen to people. It's a bad trait I have. I have a hard time listening to others. I kind of have to figure things out myself. So, but you know, obviously the Kikuyu stuff, but I didn't listen to any of it. And
what did they tell you about Kikuyu women?
That the septic tank, that, you know, 1 year later I'll be dissolved in acid, and all my money will be in her bank account.
So they will kill you and bury you.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, there's tendencies in tribes, but in the end of the day, you know, you can meet a Danish person, a Swedish person, a Kikuyu. There's some that's bad, some that's good. That's how things work.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I don't know if there's anything else you'd want to add on to our conversation. Maybe speak to your people, tell them something.
Yeah. Well, Christ is King, you know, and I just want to say this, the only real important thing for me is that Christ is fucking awesome. Sorry for cursing. Christ is awesome. You can be fearless, literally untouchable. You can move mountains. You're like an incredible. If you're a man and you're listening, like, how do I up my game? Don't start reading game and how to manipulate women and do stuff like that. You know, you just read the Bible. It's the ultimate belief system. It will make you so fucking strong and wise. It's like, imagine a warrior, but he has inner peace at the same time. Untouchable. It's incredible. So be with Christ. Fuck the Western way of doing stuff. Let's keep it African, and everything will be good. God bless everybody. My name is Curious. My title name is Curious and Crazy, and we all know curiosity killed the cat. So I hope I'll be alive. These sunglasses, my hair. So I hope I won't die, but I won't, because God is great. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
So where can people find you on, you know, YouTube and on your TikTok account? Do you have an Instagram account?
Yeah, I do. It's curious and crazy everywhere, and the crazy has a 3 in it, because 3 is the number of communication. The third letter in the alphabet is A, B, C. C stands for communication. No coincidence in life. God bless.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem.